What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders Awakened. I've been getting lots of requests lately of how do you break in to Massacre Survival with low stats. Now, first things first, remember, Dungeon Defenders is without a doubt a grind game. The further you get through the game, the more and more you're going to have to grind the previous tier to start the next one. So, you finish hard mode, by all means, no grind required, jump right on into insane. You finish up insane, probably really no grind required, hop right on into nightmare. But once you get to nightmare, you're going to want to spend a little time on the tougher nightmare maps before you make the jump into Massacre campaign. Now, before you end Nightmare Hardcore Mixed Mode grinding, you're going to be around the 2500 main stat range. And then once you get through Massacre campaign and spend a little time on Glitterhelm there, you're going to be in the 3000 plus main stat range. So where do you go for survival? Well, we did it in Insane mode, we did it in Nightmare mode, and we did it in Massacre mode. And without a doubt, the place to start off in Massacre is the Ancient Mines. Lots of folks just instinctively will jump into Deeper Well as it's the first map. The Deeper Well is not the easiest map, and the Ancient Mines is going to take that reward as far as Act 1 goes, in my personal opinion. However, the gear potential between Ancient Mines and Deeper Well is significantly different. The Ancient Mines gear can be much better, and then of course you're going to get that pet rock at wave 15 that could really be a big game changer for you. So without further ado, let's hop on into the Ancient Mines and make it happen. And here we go. Now I'm going to have to go through and tweak some gear to get some stats dialed down, and I'll do all that right here so you all can see exactly what stats I'm using. Now, as you see, I did do a wave 10 start. I wanted to just be able to build the map out and just go for it. Obviously, if you're starting on wave 1, you're going to have to just DPS through a lot of those early waves. Now, basically, the cycle is you don't pop into your very first Massacre Survival map and expect to win. That's probably not super realistic. Your goal is to get as far as you can and start getting the higher wave loot. Now, remember, you're going to get that pet rock here from Ancient Mines at wave 15, so everyone's goal on their first Massacre Survival run should be making it to wave 15 to get that pet. So let's go ahead and check it out. Who do I have here? Okay, we've got a beamer, some buff beams, and we're going to have to lower the stats way down here. Let's see what we can do. Let's get rid of that giraffe for sure. Let's get rid of our set bonus. What does that take us? That's 4,000 power. That's not quite low enough. Let's go ahead and reset all of our stats. That gets us to 3,600 power. Is that right? Yeah, 3,604. That's still not quite low enough. Let's get rid of something else. Let's see. Let's get rid of this helmet here. And that's going to drop us down to 2,700 main stat, which is actually achievable prior to even doing the Massacre campaign. But, of course, you should be doing the Massacre campaign before you hop on into survival. Now, let's see. We're going to use some EV walls. 8295. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's go ahead and reset those and get rid of our pet. That takes us to 5968. We'll lose our set bonus. That's 3978. Let's get rid of another piece. 3200. That's a very fair place to be starting with your walls in Massacre Survival mode. And then the Huntress. Let's see. Let's just do the exact same thing. 3354. We can get rid of one more piece. That's 2526. Not very impressive stats there, that's for sure. And then the auras on our Monkaliciousness here. Let's see, that takes us to 4951. We're going to have to get rid of a bunch of stuff here. Actually, that's not bad. 3,000 main stat. And then, as with everyone, you're going to have one hero that's generally the strongest. Through Insane mode, Nightmare mode, most people, it's been their Apprentice. The Apprentice has been such a go-to that, it's just going to be your beefiest hero, most likely. if you're using the meta builds, getting through Insane and Nightmare mode. So let's go ahead and get an Apprentice in our deck and get those stats all dialed down as well. And let's see here, where are we at? Yep, that is just too high for the purposes of this video. Let's see, 3,500. I think that's a very fair point. You're going to be 3,000 plus main stat without a doubt when you finish Massacre Campaign, and just doing Glitterhelm Massacre a few times, you're easily going to get to that 3,500 mark, I think. You know, do we want to get rid of one more thing? Let's just go ahead and get rid of our weapon, too. That'll take us to an even 3k. Pretty decent Apprentice. Let's go ahead and get it built here. Now, we got low stats, which means we don't have any big aura range. So we can't do any, like, crazy 1 aura stack builds without using a pet specific for it. So I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go, let's bring an Ensnare aura, and Electric aura, and a Strength Drain aura, right about to the middle point here in the map. And then let's go here and go as close as we can to those other auras. See Strength Drain, we can get a touch closer on the Electric, and even a touch closer on the Ensnare. That is, it's not centered as much as I like. I almost feel like I should move these auras over just a touch and center it all right here in this little cubby here is what I'm going to be going for. You know, I'm going to leave it right there, though. Alright, now let's go ahead and throw down some walls. We're going to use what? Let's go with a 3D wall. Is that what we want to use? We want to use 3 or we want to use 4? I mean, 4 is going to be a little beefier, right? Let's see if we can get away with using 4. I'm not sure if the DU will allow it. 143k on that starting wall. Over here, let's just go with the 3. And now what's left? We got 4780. We're going to want some traps, right? Let's go ahead and trap it up just a little bit. Just so you guys see, that is the same Traptress, Missing Gear, these main stats. Let's go with, say, a gas trap right here. Let's go with a gas trap right here. Now, one thing that's going to differ on this map, or differ on the map from Nightmare to Massacre, is in Massacre mode, you're going to get some copters. So, let's go ahead and CC these copters up by putting a gas trap right up top here. And that's going to give us, what, 38 DU left. Now, what can we do with 38 DU? Well, let's get a buff beam down and help out our aura stacks just a touch. Can I go 5? I think I want to go 4. I don't think I have enough DU to go 5. We'll have to see how it ends up here. And 34. So with 34, we could go what? We could go 3 DSTs and 2 Flame Bursts would be 34 DU. I'm not sure if I can fit all that the way I've got these snubbed down here, though. Let's see. Let's go DST. Actually, let's not even do that. Let's not do that. Let's go with a Flame Burst facing this way. What's that Flame Burst for? Well, the Flame Burst is for clearing out the spiders, as we're going to get spootered all over. Let's go with 2 DSTs pointed this way. We'll get a 3rd DST that's covering this wall and lane. That leaves 5 DU left. And what do we want to do with 5? Well, one thing that would be pretty darn helpful is a Reflect Beam, because we're going to be getting some spider action. So why don't we go with, do we want to use 1 or 2 DU? Let's go ahead and use 2 DU on a Reflect Beam. So we'll put a little V shape here. And then what else? Well, I mean, we could completely enclose our little kill box right here to give us full protection versus Ogre Snot and the whole enchilada by just going something like this. Now, obviously, that is about the derpiest looking reflect box I have ever seen in my life, but you know what? It'll probably still work. So let's go ahead and throw a 1 DU Reflect Beam in front of this wall as well. Actually, let's bring it over further. Let's put it like right here. And we'll stretch it out as far as the DU will allow us. And then who are we going to DPS on? Well, we're using a 3-tower stack. One of the easiest things you can do is without a doubt go with a boost monk. So we're going to have to get a boost monk squared away as well. So let's see, this weapon's not going to cut it because we can't bring any weapons in quite that high up. Let me find my campaign weapon. That's not it. It was a 204 is the one I got from campaign. Where are you at? There it be. So that is the weapon I got from Summit campaign. We'll use that one. Let's take a look at the rest of the stats. We are going to want to use a gemstone. Let's get rid of all our points. That puts us down to nice low stats. That's pretty darn good. And then let's see. Let's get a campaign quality speedy gemstone as well. And I know for a fact I've got not one, but 2 or 3 of those. That one's a little better. Here we go. Here is a speedy campaign quality gemstone from Massacre Campaign. 91.23% bonus defense rate. We'll use that. And we've got our low-level weapon. Everything else, nothing out of the ordinary here. Nope, everything good and low. I actually got so much in Vitality from playing Massacre Mode. The boss maps, you certainly wouldn't need that. Now, we do have 600 left. Let's go ahead and prioritize our overclock beam. And here we go. Let's check it out. Now, you guys saw all the stats. This is the results. It's not going to be pretty. This is not a build that's going to go 25 waves. But this is going to be something comparable to your very first jump into Massacre Survival. Now, when you're first starting Massacre Survival, it's going to be way easier for you to just ignore the Sirens and don't try to kill them. As you see, I am also ignoring the Copter Ogres, as the Copter Ogres are all CC'd on that gas trap. If that gas trap pops and the Copter Ogres start coming towards me, I'm gonna start DPSing them again. Now, as I get some upgrades out there, there's no doubt these DSTs will start plucking some of them off. But, you know, obviously I don't want to have to kill those ogres. I want those ogres falling to their death. Let's see what we can do here. The DST got a shot in there. And there we go. There is an ogre down. I'm just going to ignore that next Copter Ogre for the moment, since it is all CC'd up. Now, with no range is going to mean mobs are going to be pushing further and further up to your walls. Now, you know, that's just part of life. It's just going to happen. We've got our crowd control in place, but what do we need? We need to make sure we're clearing out these enemies that are getting grouped up close to the walls. We've got a physical resist ogre here, which the physical resist ogre... Oh man, I snoozed on that one. The physical resist ogre, of course, is not going to be touched by the DSTs, so we are going to have to kill that bad boy. So let's just go ahead and fire into these. I'm just going to keep buffing the DSTs. Remember where I'm casting this tower boost at, it's hitting actually everything. It's hitting both R stacks on both lanes. It's hitting my DSTs. It's hitting that flame burst that's pretty much just sitting there, but it's a dedicated spider killer. And it allows us to spend time just burning through the ogres. Now remember, what's the objective here, particularly when you're first pushing into a new tier? Let's save the walls. If your walls survive, you survive. That's just how it is. So you want to make sure you're constantly monitoring your wall health. I've got a little bit of mana saved up now. This wall clearly is getting walloped. Let's go ahead and give that one an upgrade. Get beat up a little bit here by the Delphs. Another reality of life. And now it looks like, other than that ogre that's stuck on the bridge in the middle, we've just basically got trash mobs to clear, and it's GG. Now you see, they're still getting crowd controlled, but with the low gas trap range, they're getting crowd controlled right at my wall. Now, I didn't repair this wall or do anything, and you saw, that's all the damage it took. So, a little bit of crowd control goes a long way. Make sure that you're using it. Now, who's the mob that's introduced into Massacre? It is the Siren. So, with the Siren introduced into Massacre, you just plain are gonna have to pay attention to poison sirens. That's just how it is, no doubt. Now, I lost my strength drain aura as I was blathering away and didn't bother to repair my strength drain aura that was getting just mutilated. So we're going to have to get that back down. But you see, Wave 10 was pretty much an easy clear. The loot on the ground is not fantastic, but, you know, there will be some transcendent gear. There's no doubt. See, there's a transcendent piece right there. That's actually fairly comparable to something you would see at the end of campaign mode, no doubt. And let's see, let's grab our monk back, or our monk. Where you at? I passed you. There we go. Once again, we'll take a look at those just so you can see it is the same one. No bait and switch going on over here. Let's go ahead and get our strength drain aura back, and then of course, since we lost the strength drain, we lost our buff beam, so we're going to have to get that back as well. And let's see, I think right there is a good spot. I'll stretch it to its limits. Looks like right about there is going to get it. Both the aura stacks are good. It looks like all of the towers have been hit. Yep, they are all set. And what next? Well, let's we're going to have to re-upgrade, right? Oops, that was the reflect beam. Let's get that overclock beam as far as we can. We can actually take the overclock beam all the way up. I want one upgrade on each of these, and I'm just going to have to pay attention to the strength drain, dang it. I can't be snoozing on it, that's for sure. And let's see, what about over here? We got our strength drain I've already upped over here. We've got 170 left. Let's get that wall repaired. And let's just throw an upgrade on this wall just to be safe. Let's go ahead and get wave number 11 going. Now remember, this build it's designed as your break-in. It's your entry point. If you're not at these stats yet, you're going to want to make sure that you put in the grind on the earlier tiers. So Nightmare Hardcore Mix Mode, you should be completing those runs on Glitterhelm before jumping into Massacre. And then without a doubt, Massacre Campaign before Massacre Survival. Now, as you see, we got a Poison Siren here, which means those mobs that the Siren went through are going to be immune to that gas trap. So I'm going to make sure to clear out all the mobs behind it. I don't want to hit the Siren, though. You see I accidentally hit her. I'm going to go ahead and let her leave. And I'm just going to try to kill the enemies that are in front of her. Now, if you feel comfortable killing the Sirens, by all means, kill the dang Sirens. Because they are little loot pinatas. That's for sure. Now, in this particular setup, we've got full protection. So we can sit here and just DPS the Sirens from range and not take any damage at all. And you see, loot pinata, when those things pop, they pop, no doubt about it. And let's see, we've got another Poison Siren over here, so I'm going to want to pay attention to this lane, and then I want to watch those gas traps as well. Now, I am not going to play through this map all the way as far as I can go, but I am going to get through Wave 14 for that rock pet, which, as I mentioned, can be just really a game changer for you. It can be just a massive, massive upgrade for one particular builder, and the rock, you know, RNG is RNG. It could be a big old bummer, or it could be just something amazing. So let's go ahead and jump on forward to Wave 14 and get this bad boy cleared out for our first pet in Massacre Survival. Alright, and here we go. We are at the pet wave, wave number 14. Now, take a peek around at what wave 13 got us. There's, there's some decent loot on the ground, no doubt. Now, depending on how much time you have spent in grinding out Massacre Campaign, you might not see an upgrade this early. It might take getting to wave 20, wave 25. You will, without a doubt, if you complete this map, you will 100% have godly gear. Now, you won't be full godly gear, but you'll have some godly pieces, no doubt, as they're just going to drop on this map. That's a nice piece right there. It's a shame it doesn't have all 4 builder stats. Let's see, we got 200 left. As you see, I kind of prioritized the auras. I upgraded the auras, and I've got my towers upgraded just a touch here. Definitely prioritizing the DSTs over the Flame Burst for the rest of the map for sure. Now, like I said, I'm not going to run this one all the way through, but what you would want to do as a brand new player into Massacre Survival is go as far as you can. So we're going to see how wave 14 runs right now with these low stats, and push it as far as you can get it. Well, what do you do then? Well, you take any upgrades you got, you sink your gold into them, you get them upgraded and squared away, and then you come back in and do it again, but you go further than you did last time. After a couple attempts, no doubt you're going to be clearing wave 25, but let's see if we get lucky with a decent rock, as that's what's coming at the end of this wave. So let's go ahead and make it happen. Now, as I mentioned, it's just important, control the copters. The copters are controlled, so you don't want to just start spraying the copters down, as if you don't get them before their ogre drops over land, it's going to make you unhappy and you're going to have an extra ground ogre. So the easiest thing to do is let them sit there in that gas trap for as long as possible. Let them sit there. You take the copters down when you want them down. Now, as I mentioned, some copters will end up dying to DSTs here, and that's just, it's going to happen. Luckily, most of the copters that die to DSTs are going to drop on that bridge, and they're not going to be able to get to you. Okay, so we got a poison siren over here. Very, very important. The poison sirens, if there's any sharken behind them, those sharken are going to push if they get debuffed and they're immune to poison damage. They're going to roll right on up through your walls. We got another darn copter here. I was snoozing once again. That's alright. Nothing we can't handle. And let's see. Let's check these other copters. Looks like they're locked up for the moment. I accidentally hit this siren, but that's alright. Let's just go ahead and put some work. Okay, here comes copters. It's unfortunate. I'm getting a big ogre buildup. Much bigger than I would normally prefer to have, or much bigger than I normally would have. Now, sadly, these are all physical immune, which means my DSTs aren't going to kill them, so I'm going to have to kill them. So while I'm sitting here spraying them down with my fire damage, I do want to keep an eye on that wall's health and make sure it's all good. Now, as I was mentioning about the poison sirens, it's definitely the most important thing for you to do is manage those poison sirens. You're going to want to make sure you clear the pack behind them anytime a poison siren comes rolling out. You see that was far from the end of the world right there, and the wall barely took really any damage. Now, Strength Drain Auras with the lower stats are going to burn super quick. Make sure you keep them up. You see these guys, these baddies are all crowd control right on top of the wall, so let's go ahead and clear them out just a touch. Make sure we keep our DSTs buffed here the whole time, which is also, as I mentioned, buffing both our stacks. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, and I think is pretty important. Now, we're playing with the hardcore multiplier. You see the little skull down in the bottom left? What hardcore means, of course, is if you die, you're not going to respawn until the end of the wave, so your build needs to hold through the end of the wave. There is no shame when you're first breaking in not putting hardcore on, so don't worry about that. If you're having a trouble staying alive, then turn hardcore off, get yourself some gear. It's very true, hardcore is a loot modifier, so the highest potential gear that can drop is going to be 25% higher with the hardcore modifier on. However, you're still going to get decent gear. I mean, it's RNG and the ranges overlap quite a bit. So you, without question, will still be getting some decent gear dropping on the ground. There's no doubt about it, but, if you can, and if you're playing Massacre, I'm pretty sure any of you can, just bob and weave, move around. Don't expect to just stand there and everything's going to happen for you. If you need to move around like one of those copter travesties, by all means do. Let's take a look and see what Wave 14 gave us. Now, as you see, the Transcendent gear is getting more and more abundant, and the Mythical gear is getting more and more scarce. It's going to continue like this for a few waves, and really, at any time, the earliest that I personally have found one, meaning a godly piece, is Wave 15. So you could get a godly piece even in these earlier waves. Is that a godly piece? I thought I saw blue over here, but no godly piece here. But we've got trans items just littering the ground. So no doubt you're going to be able to put together some nice sets based off of the Transcendent gear that's dropped there. Now, what's the whole reason or the whole goal of making it to Wave 15? Well, it's to get that rock. Let's see what we got. We got a Transcendent Rock. And let's see. Oh, wow. I mean, it doesn't have all 4 builder stats, but that's a really good roll for Wave 15 Survival. That's not too shabby. Now, if it had all 4 builder stats, it would be perfect, but, man, those rolls are legit. Now, like I said, this rock could completely change your game. I mean, just adding this rock to the mix, even not having all 4 builder stats, is giving you a substantial chunk in additional stats based off of the stats, you know, that we're rolling in here with. So that is a little break-in tutorial into Massacre Survival. You're going to be able to do it. It can be frustrating. Of course, we all want to win. However, it's a higher difficulty. You're transitioning into it. Don't get bummed if you don't beat Wave 25 the first time. Just go as far as you can and make it happen. Collect the loot and rinse and repeat. Even if you don't find anything that's just an amazing upgrade, you're at least going to get the gold. So when you do find a decent upgrade, you're going to be able to continue along. So hopefully this helps everyone break into Massacre Survival, and hopefully everyone has enough good sense to place their walls so they look a little bit prettier than this little box right here. However, y'all, that will do it for now. Thank you all an absolute ton. Don't forget to click that like button and please subscribe. And I will be back soon with some more Dungeon Defenders Awakened. You can count on it. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.